the state where you vibrate on the vibrations of this universe, or the Creator, or the Jesus, or the Buddha of unconditional peace and love. And this state is the true essence of love towards mind, body, and soul. Mind is your mental health, body is your physical health, and soul is your emotional health. This video is going to be a little bit longer. Why? Because I want to elaborate to people what real unconditional self-love means, right? Not that kind of like putting makeup on you, or probably wearing good clothes, or just going to the gym and forgetting about your mental health and your emotions. Not like that, no. But I'm gonna go first from the religious point of view, or the spiritual point of view. Because all the religions, initially, they were created from spirituality. It doesn't matter whether that was Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, right? Buddhism and Hinduism, they're still not considered as religion. There are ways of living, but I'm gonna quote Christianity first, right? And I'm living in a white land, or probably in the western part of the world, right, where majority of the people are Christians or Catholics or whatever that is, right? I don't want to get into the religious aspect, but I just want to quote something from the Bible, from Luke 17:21, which says, "Kingdom of heaven lies within you, and rest follows it." That's what it says, right? But what happens is, when we go to the mass or go to the church and come outside, we forget about it. But anyways, that's a different chapter conversation. I will talk about that in a different video. From Hinduism point of view, right, what unconditional self-love means is Atma Prema, which means soul love with no ego, no false attachment of your identity towards your identity, I would say. Recognizing yourself, forgiveness and acceptance. And Buddhism talks about that as well. Buddhism says Maitri. Maitri is friend, making yourself as your best friend. Right? The Dalai Lama, who is the biggest preacher of Buddhism, he says, if you don't love yourself, you cannot love others. Simple. Right? So really and truly, unconditional means non-judgmental. And this was the state of soul that the Creator, or Jesus, or Buddha had, of unconditional peace and love. Jesus always wanted to accept people the way they are, to love people the way they are, to be non-judgmental with people, right? And the best part is, the universe, Mother Nature, right? That operates on non-judgmental and unconditional characteristics. Nature doesn't see what she's destroying or creating. She destroys or creates with a flow whenever it's necessary. Even animals, We don't learn from animals at all. I'm not sure how many people would have got pets, especially dogs, right? Do they have any conditions to love you? No. Even if you are kind of like coming so tired from your work, you had a long day, they'll just jump on you, lick you, and they will try to give you up, right? They don't see you like that. I mean, why don't people understand about it? I don't really know. But I am explaining all those things in a very elaborative way so that everybody watching my video should understand, what unconditional self-love means, right? So how has it got changed now, and how is it impacting the world? I mean, so since the creation of humanity, we have been evolving, discovering, inventing things, be it from technological point of view or be it from societal point of view, or our nature, our way of thinking. Those things have evolved so drastically. I mean, just look back 100 years ago. What people were at that stage and what we are today is entirely different, right? Inflation, technology, everything has got changed. But it came with a setback, came with a side effect. And the side effect was something that philosophers talked about a long time ago, in the ancient times. The likes of Hippocrates, they lived from 470 to 370 BCE. Plato, 429 to 347 BCE. Not only that, one of the most modern psychologists, Carl Jung, he talked about that. Mental health, emotional health, right? When we go to the gym, that's what I've seen, right? Unfortunately, I just feel so sad about certain things wherein people are trying to prove themselves by just burning themselves so hard in the gym rather than just going so slow on it. And what happens is that's just a temporary phase of their lives where they have a big spark to go to the gym. And then after 6 months or so, that spark comes down. Yeah, the consistency just goes away. Right? Just because what? We want to prove ourselves without knowing ourselves. But anyways, so I did talk about the most recent psychologist. There's a very good spiritual teacher, right? I would recommend everyone to go and, subscribe to his channel. He's still alive. His name is Eckhart Tolle. Oh, you gotta listen to this guy, right? He's one of my mentors. Not a personal mentor, but I listened to him. And that changed my life. But anyways, coming back to the topic, the bottom line is, despite of all those progression, all those inventions, discoveries that we made since last 102 years, 100 years, right? We develop a sense of unworthiness, sense of competition, validation, regret, vengeance, hate, shame, blame, all those low vibrational energies. And I'm not saying that progression is bad. I'm just saying that all those above factors with the progression will actually take you to a threshold wherein then you will realize, Jesus, what am I here for? Am I here to just earn money? And then you get that awakening, right? And the similar awakening happened with me when somebody woke me up in terms of my emotional instability 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And it just took me like 1.5 years to transform my emotional, instability into stability. And the biggest manifestation that I got in my life was how to govern respect. Even the richest of the richest cannot govern respect, right? They think that they got money and they can govern respect, they can control it. No. If you take away all that money from them, they'll not be able to govern respect still, because their ego is attached to their money, to their status, not to themselves. That's the beauty of it. The universe wants to give us everything. Wants to give us relationships, love, finance, abundance, health, everything. But do we really want to comply to that? We don't, right? We want to control and chase. Because what we do is we are looking outwards all the time on the physical reality. And we are trying to control our physical reality rather than controlling our inner truth. Not to control our inner truth. I would say know the inner truth. And once we know who we are, then the magic happens. That manifestation, law of manifestation, attraction, law of attraction, all that kind of stuff. That's not bullshit. That's what happens, right? You get what you are. You're going to play games, you're going to get a person who's going to play games with you. You're going to hate people, you're going to get hate. Have love within you, you're going to get love. That's simple as that. You respect yourself, you're going to get respect. I can talk about all those topics in my upcoming videos as well. Unconditional self-love is the biggest topic of this entire universe, right? This looking outwards that we do all the time, right? How does it start? It starts from your childhood. Because your parents have been taught about that, and your grandparents were taught about that. And then they pass on the trauma and those kind of teachings and limited belief systems onto you. Then the schools teach you about that. Then the college teaches you about that. And the politics, religion, and then your job teaches you about that. And that keeps going and going and going. And once you get older, what happens is you're full of negativity. You're full of anxiety. Then you want people to respect you. If somebody is probably, as old as like maybe 60 or 70 years old, now he or she doesn't have a family, let's say, for example, shouldn't be that person would always be crying, oh, nobody calls me, nobody looks after me, nobody does this, nobody does that. Why? Because they never had the courage to go ahead and become their own best friends. Well, it's another debate. It's another topic that I can talk about. So there are so many things in unconditional self-love that touches every aspect of your life. And I went through that as well. I did that complete mind, body, and soul transformation. From mind point of view, I completely changed my mindset. Not just to kind of like go ahead and look at the world from a different point of view. That was the mindset. From body, everybody said that, oh, intermittent fasting is not good. I implemented that as well. But the toughest one was the soul transformation, emotional stability, where everybody gets stuck because they got fears, they got hate, They haven't gotten confidence. They're not leaders in their own lives. Unconditional self-love is a true manifestation of anything: confidence, leadership, abundance, growth, money, you name it, personality, character, patience. I can talk all year long on that. But no worries, right? I'm here now, and I'll be more than happy to help everybody on that. So, how we do all those transformations, right? As I said, becoming your own best friend, sitting with yourself on your own. Right? So, for that matter, I teach the purest form of meditation, which is the true power of silence, called as dhyana, wherein you sit with yourself and observe your own thoughts and let it come out rather than blocking them, and transform that into unconditional peace and love. Not only that, I also practice spiritual practices which help me, and probably I would say completely transform me into a person what I am right now, wherein I would not see pain as real pain. I will see pain as a gift from God, from the Creator, just to become His truest and the highest vibe of unconditional peace and love. My name is Sunny. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.